also on our YouTube channel at the Western Spring TV. We want to say thank you for joining us again for a fresh edition of Morning Spring here, where we talk about everything important. If it has to do with the public good, this is where it gets to be discussed. Speaking, to policymakers, opinion holders, government, people in charge of government, everybody that has one or two things to do with the public good, starting with yourself, distinguished viewers. We are all stakeholders in the Nigerian business, and this nation, as we usually say, must prosper. I'm a Nigerian. Femi Ojo is my name, and I'm a happy Nigerian, but a concerned Nigerian, because issues bordering on this nation must be discussed, and this is where it happens. Daniel is here, another Nigerian. Absolutely. I suppose. Absolutely. Still a Nigerian. 100%. And it won't change.
I wouldn't trade my citizenship for anything.
That's good to know. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning.
It is.
Great to be alive.
Yes, it is.
Great to be a Nigerian. And we always thank God. Like you said, it is the Lord's day. Every day
is the Lord's day.
Is the Lord's day. So we are glad to be alive. Exactly. Regardless of what we are going through, despite, everything, we still have to give thanks to God for the fact that we are still alive. And
for life.
We do hope those who are in very dire situations, they get help, they get succor. And for those who've been victims of, incessant killings in some parts of Nigeria, we do condole with them, and we pray that God will grant them fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. Emeka Daniel is my name. Thank you for joining us once again on Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. All over the world, the news is everywhere. The biggest news all over the world today is the passing of the leader of the Catholic faith, the Pope himself, who passed away, Pope Francis, who passed away yesterday at the age of 88. And we wish all the Catholics around the world, about 1.3 billion Catholics around the world, we do condole with them as well on the passing of the Pope. The Pope initially came down with bronchitis. Then afterwards, he was diagnosed with bilateral pneumonia. Then he went to he was at the hospital for a while for about 38 days. He was discharged. Then he also actually held a mass on Easter Day, Easter Sunday. A lot of people came to, to pay homage, to greet him. And then just after that, hours later, he passed away. Right. Just this morning, in the early hours of this morning, the Vatican released a report saying the Pope actually died of stroke and subsequently reversible heart failure. We'll be looking into that and other issues in the news today on the program. Thank you once again for joining us. You do not want to miss any segments of the Morning Spring. As always, it promises to be a great show.
Exactly. And Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the name of the Pope Francis, an Argentine born in Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina. His legacy while he was here with us, the leadership that he provided for the church, for the Roman Catholic Church, and of course his position on things, while he was there, how he met the church, the Catholic Church, and how he left it. Some of the challenges and many things that will be remembered for. Just like you said, we'll look into that in the course of the program. But right now, the papers are in. Stay with us. All right, we'll start the headline segment from the Daily Trust, the Daily Trust newspaper. Kano, Katsina, Jigawa get 2-hour power supply daily. Kano, Katsina, Jigawa get 2-hour power supply daily. Interesting. With riders, small businesses suffer losses. Petco blames outage and system upgrade. Small businesses suffer losses, and Petco blames outage and system upgrade. Wow, what an upgrade. That would make 3 states to be having cumulative 2-hour power supply daily. What can they do with that? What happens to small businesses? Of course, loss. is not far away from them. And just below that, you have, the picture of some crowd, Christians, on Easter Monday protesting at Jos, Plateau State, and it's about the killings in that state. In Plateau State, you can see them donning the dark attire to protest the loss of lives and properties, the wanton killings in Plateau. That is what many of those persons use their Monday for. Why they are supposed to be in Galilee, but then life is very sacred. All right, away from that, Pope Francis. What happens when a pope dies? What happens? Some of these questions will be answered during the course of the program today. Is such an iconic figure, actually, and 137 cardinals to choose new pontiff. All right, to look into all of this process. And Zamfara residents pay millions for safety. Zamfara residents pay millions for safety. To who? That's the question. Who are they paying it for? I mean, for their safety. Is it to the Nigeria police?
Nah, you'll be shocked. To bandits, of course. There's been reports that they've been paying bandits, especially in Zamfara. So they've been paying bandits. Bandits have been exporting them, which is quite unfortunate. Very
unfortunate. A government within a government.
Absolutely.
People having the wherewithal to say, if you want to stay alive, do this and do that and do that. And very, very awkward to say the least. Zamfara residents pay millions for safety. And after 19 days, Tinubu returns from France and UK trips. Interesting. The president, got back last evening after 19 days of leaving the country. On 5 dead, 13 injured as truck rams into procession in Gombe. 5 dead, 13 injured as truck rams into procession in Gombe. That is very awkward. And the return of Mr. President, at least, we put hold, to some conspiracies from rumor about his health, or being incapacitated, being there, for whatever. At least the man is back right now. And Nigerians, we continue to ask him the question. Now that he's back, what will he do? Those places that have been ravaged, will he visit? If he visits, what will be the promise? When he makes those promises, what will be the impact? Will it be sustainable? Or possibly in the next 2 weeks? We are not naysayers here, or we are not warmongers. We are just saying the government and those in charge need to be responsible. All right, that'll be all from the Daily Trust.
From the Daily Trust, we move to the front page of the Punch newspaper. Tinubu to meet service chiefs over rising killings. Tinubu to meet service chiefs over rising killings. With riders, President returns from France, UK. Presidency blames governors for worsening insecurity. Interesting. Presidency blames governors for worsening insecurity. Now they are trading blames. Away from that, protests in Jos. Of course, yesterday there were protests in Jos, as the Plateau State capital, to protest against the killings of innocent citizens of the state, right there. Away from that, moving to the top strip of the Punch newspaper. Electricity failures inflate manufacturers' generator bills to 1 trillion naira. Electricity failures inflate manufacturers' generator bill to 1 trillion naira. You find a story on page 25 of the Punch newspaper. Japa, federal government targets ghost workers in fresh payroll audits. Federal government targets ghost workers in fresh payroll audits. You see that story on page 7. Now, this is quite interesting because there might be some ghost workers. A lot of people have left the country, and unfortunately, Femi, it would be unfair for you to Japa, leave the nation and still, get paid. Some people are actually still receiving their pay in the system, which is quite unfortunate. So there should be an audit. There's a fresh payroll audit to actually curb this, because it doesn't make any sense. If you decide to japa, you decide to leave the country, as they say, why should you still, receive salaries from the federal government? And I think that audit is very crucial at this time. Away from that, UK records 22,000 Nigerian asylum seekers. UK records 22,000 Nigerian asylum seekers. You find that on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. NNPCL sells 336 billion naira crude to Dangote foreign refineries. NNPCL sells 336 billion naira crude to Dangote foreign refineries. And that's according to a report right there. With the rider, local refineries buy 32% of NNPCL crude in Q1. You find all that on page 33 of the Punch newspaper. Away from that, Tinubu world leaders mourn as Pope Francis dies at 88. Tinubu world leaders mourn as Pope Francis dies at 88. Of course, that's the biggest news around the world today. The Pope passed away Easter Monday at the age of 88. So greetings, condolence messages have been pouring in from all over the world for the Pope. And of course, to the Catholic faithfuls, to members of the Catholic religion, about 1.3 billion of them around the world, they are all mourning the passing of the Pope, the iconic Pope Francis. Away from that, I didn't interfere in Alaafin's selection, says Makinde. I didn't interfere in Alaafin's selection, says Makinde. Moving on to other stories. Lagos launches probe as building collapse death toll hits 7. Lagos launches probe as building collapse deaths hits 7. You find us on page 5 of the Punch newspaper. And finally, from the front page of the Punch newspaper, Rivers, Fubara's backers go spiritual. Rivers, Fubara's backers go spiritual. One might begin to wonder, how do you mean they've gone spiritual? You might want to read up that story on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. And that'll be all from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Punch, go to the Nigerian Tribune. Plateau Forest grazing reserves now occupied by bandits. Move to Ang. That's the governor of Plateau State. Plateau Forest grazing reserves now occupied by bandits. Move to Ang. And, okay, when a governor comes out, in such categorical manner, and so such a statement should be really investigated. For him to say, this is where they are, all our forests are occupied by these guys. How did they get there? How come they assembled there, took over the forest? Now, we keep talking. We had the guest yesterday. We talked more about intelligence. How come they got there, settled there, took over the forest, and nothing has happened?
Absolutely. And talking about intelligence, that's free intelligence the governor is giving the military agencies right now. We talked about sharing of information. So this is intelligence.
And before it goes public, you will expect that it will have made this intelligence known to those in charge. It wouldn't be this public statement that is the first for the intelligence community to pick up that this is really happening. But then we will keep talking.
Let's see what they do about that.
We will now act on these issues. Exactly. Plateau Forest grazing reserves now occupied by bandits. All right. And we have below that, Jonathan regrets inability to end Nigeria's suffering. Jonathan regrets inability to end Nigeria's suffering, says commitment to peace remains unshaken. Jonathan regrets inability to end Nigeria's suffering, says commitment to peace remains unshaken. All right, below that, grandson of popular Ondo musician Comfort Omoge killed by scavenger. This is horrible. Grandson of popular Ondo musician Comfort Omoge killed by scavenger. Why? How did it degenerate to the level of killing? For those who remember, as Comfort Omoge, she was one of the sonorous voices, while she was alive. Traditional music, actually, and very popular with the tune Olorumi Iwonimasin Titi Ayemi, for those who understand. And that was quite a tune at the time. Till now, people still sing the song. And now her grandson has been killed by scavengers, And when you say scavengers, those people who goes about picking up scraps, actually iron scraps and all of those things. And now the question is, how did it get bad? Actually, what confrontation led to the death of that young person? Sad. All right. And federal government registers, releases improved pepper, tomatoes varieties, 27 other crops to farmers. Federal government registers, releases improved pepper, tomatoes varieties, 27 other crops to farmers. All right, we would like to know which farmers have those things been released to, in what state, what are the requirements, to have access to these improved crops. All right, and beside that, you have the picture of the governor of your state, Engineer Seyi Makinde, the Oyo State governor. Beside him, the center, actually, the Alafin of Oyo, Akim Abimbolo Owade one, his wife, Abiwumi, and the wife of the Oyo State governor, Tamuno Minini, during the visit of the Alafin to the Kolaba Ibadan residence of the governor. All right, there, BSO, that's what we say around here, where you see monarchs. All right, below that, disquiet in APC over Tinubu's deal with Kwakwanso. Disquiet in APC over Tinubu's deal with Kwakwanso. And party chieftains kick against automatic ticket for new entrants. Party chieftains kick against automatic ticket for new entrants. The game is the game, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Disquiet, in APC over Tinubu's deal with Kwakwan. So we have been hearing one or two, about meetings, alignment and realignment. And, politicians will do what they do. And the Tribune is reporting that some persons possibly might not be comfortable with such a deal. That is, if such a deal exists, actually. Kwakwan is the leader of the Kwakwansia movement. And the poster boy of the NNPP, and they got more than 1 million in the last election. So, just like I said, it is what it is.
Yeah. People keep making their deals. Politicians keep going after their own selfish interests. Interestingly, Governor Eno Umo of Akwa Ibom has reiterated his statement, saying it wasn't a mistake. Like, he doesn't speak with both sides of his mouth. That he is saying it openly. He is supporting Tinubu for second term, that he will support someone who has promised to support him. So again, it boils down to selfish interest.
Yeah, well, whatever the interest is, and that speaks to the delicate situation, in Akwa Ibom State, because I'm not sure the PDP has the steel, the wherewithal to tell Humo Heno you are expelled for anti-party activities, because your party as well, the one whose ticket you rode to power, will definitely have a presidential candidate. And now you're ready, even before the party makes a position, you're already saying who you will vote for. And you have the ticket, the umbrella of another party that shielded you. Now, the question is, if PDP will say, oh, we discipline you for anti-party activities, the APC there will be like this. Come in. Because the Senate president, former governor of that state, two-time governor, is an APC chieftain, is the Senate president. It will just open the hands and say, come on, guy, come in.
Absolutely.
And so it will be a terrible loss for the PDP. So I'm not sure the place that the PDP as a party are right now, they have the wherewithal to call the bluff of Umoino to say, we will renew, the ticket we are giving to you or give us back our mandate and go away. Can the PDP really afford that?
The PDP cannot do that. You know why? The PDP has already, this person has already set a precedent talking about Wike. Someone who openly, has been campaigning against your party, carried out anti-party activities, and the party could not sanction him. So if Wike could do it and get away with it.
Not that he even supported other candidates during the last 2023 election. He and his unity group, or what do they call themselves? Integrity
G5
group.
governors.
Yeah. They openly worked against to support another person.
That's what I'm saying. And their party, the PDP, could not do anything about
now.
it. So that set a precedent already. That has set a precedent. Meaning the PDP cannot really do anything about it, which is quite unfortunate. Now PDP governors are moving to support APC, that is President Tinubu. A lot of them, and Omar said it, that he's saying his own openly here, that some people will come to him and say, there's some people are saying openly, why are you supporting the president? He said at night, they go to support Mr. President.
But then that's just from him. We've only known Umar Eno's position, or at least publicly.
And let me shock you, Femi. There are reports that even the governor of our dear Osun State is also actually having ambitions to support.
Well,
there are reports.
We won't dwell.
Osun State, Delta State. Okay, Delta State is open already.
We won't dwell.
Other PDP governors as well.
I'm not sure we should dwell on
secretly
rumors.
scheming. That's why I said unconfirmed reports. Again, we are waiting to see that. There was a time a poster emerged with a picture of the president and that's of the governor of Osun State. That's Ademola Adeleke. And people are saying that
anybody can do that.
So anybody can do that.
Anybody
Absolutely.
can do that. Do you know the opposition can even do that?
But I will not be surprised. I've said it before, long before now. I said it in a conversation that I will not be surprised.
That what?
If the governor of Osun State joins the APC, it won't come as a surprise.
For me, I would say I will not be surprised if any politicians do what they do.
Absolutely.
Actually, for me, that's just the thing. So either it's from this side to the other side, or from the other side to this side. Politicians will do what they have to do. That's just it. But then, till they make their positions known, we will wait about that. And what leaders, others pay tribute as Pope Francis dies at 88. What leaders, others pay tribute as Pope Francis dies at 88. And writers, he died from stroke and heart failure. That's the position of the Vatican. And his life and times, from bouncer to papacy, those who may succeed him, a lot will be happening. You can see the picture of the man, Pope Francis Jorge Bergoglio. He has, transcended this realm to the other world leaders. Others pay tribute as Pope Francis dies at 80. We'll look into that in the course of the program for today, and that will be all on the front pages of the papers for today. Stay with us. We'll be back.